Hi, I'm Mac Tennyson, and I am very excited that you're watching this video. Speaking of excited, I'm also excited about the new 2018 financial statements. Now, uh, most of you probably have heard me say this before, so forgive me for repeating myself, but the standard for the SunPlus world now is to implement new financial statements every year. So we're gone are the days that you got the financial statements whenever your site was implemented and you use the same financial statements for the next 5 years. Well, there's new accounting rules coming along, new abilities for us to do things in Sun Plus, and there's uh, changing church policy. So if you're using the old financial statements year after year after year, you're going to be left behind. And another important reason to implement it every year is, I mean, I don't want to talk about too many folksy stories, but one real problem I had one time was I was vain and didn't want to start wearing bifocals, the little lines that go on, and I didn't want to wear bifocals, so I kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off, and finally, when I got them, it nearly killed me. And so the more years you don't implement the new financial statements, the greater the quantum leap you have in trying to catch up. If every year you implement the new ones, then you will uh, each year will just be one little thing you have to add on instead of this big world of difference. So in recent times, we have implemented multiple languages so we can have the same set of financial statements run in Spanish and in English. So you can pass out Spanish and pass out English. The auditors can look at the English and your board members can look at Spanish. And so at the Inter-American Division board meeting, they can very easily pass out Spanish financial statements and English financial statements. And so you may have a board member, I'm assuming an executive director, or you may even have a treasurer that doesn't speak all the languages, so he can see it in his languages or her language, and the other treasurers can see it in their language. That's cool. The next thing that we have is that we have automatic ways that we're separating out. The church accounting manual says that you have to uh, do the organization above you, report receivables for the organizations above you and the organizations below you, and they have to be shown separately, and those two things have to be shown separately from other organizational receivables. Well, that's a feature in the software that is now automatic dates going on there. That's a nice feature. Maybe it's been around a while. I hope and you're saying, oh yeah, I know about all that. I know about all that. Well, a new feature in today's 2018 financial statement is the ability to have multiple funds. Now, for years, we've had Fund 10 and Fund 20 and working in the financial statements. But if you had another fund, say a Fund 30, you you were out of luck as far as standard financial statements. Well, these financial statements allow you to have more than Fund 10 and Fund 20. Another big improvement in this financial statement, and this is a little hard to explain, and there's a whole video on each of these things I've just mentioned. But one new requirement coming out of the General Conference is that the General Conference in its working policy, and the video gives you the chapter and verse, you can go look at the working policy. The working policy now requires you to do a special tithe report. Now, the tithe report is done in the spring for the previous year. So in 2019, you are going to be responsible for turning in a report for 2018. Well, if you just sat down in 2019 and tried to do this report for 2018, it's going to be a lot of work. I mean, I'm not even sure how you do it, uh, but you would be responsible for doing this report for 2018. If you set it up right now and start running the report right now every month, you get the advantage that you have it ready to hand in 2019. But there's a bigger advantage, and that bigger advantage is that if you run it in January and you see how your January looks, and if you're embarrassed with the way that you're using tithe, you can change your policy in February, and because the report is for the whole year, so if you change the way you spend tithe in the last part of the year, you can remedy your problems with the first part of the year. But if you wait and run it and prepare the report in 2019, you may be embarrassed because then you will see right in front of you that you've been using tithe incorrectly in the way you, and so if you see it building through the year, and so these new financial statements have that report. Now, to implement the financial statements, I'm going to show you all this in a minute, but I'll just go over it several times. To implement the financial statements, for years we have had to make sure that account 0000000, address record 0000000 has been set up. Most of you listening to this have been having that set up. Well, that has to be, make sure that's set up right. I think it's probably okay without you touching it. Also, last year we introduced the idea of creating address record A00000. And if you followed the policy and the standard for the SunPlus, you've implemented A0000. But if you haven't, if you've been behind in getting the new financial statements, in this time's implementation, you have to set up address record A000. And so that would be something you have to do. One thing you have to do is to delete your unwanted pages off of your financial statements. Okay, there's a video that shows you which are unwanted. Every organization is a little bit different which ones they need to be deleted. Okay, and then the next thing that we have to do in the implementation is import the data dictionary. This was something that we started for in 2017 financial statements. So if you set up the data dictionary, if you understand how we did it in 2017, exactly the same, but you want with 2018 to import the latest data dictionary so you can get the latest and greatest translations. And this is true, make sure you're clear about it, this is true even if you are an English-speaking organization. So if we wanted to change a label, we wouldn't just go a label on the financial statements. We don't just go right into the financial statements and change it. We change it over in the data dictionary, and that's what shows up. So everyone has to import the data dictionary. We learned this in 2017. And so the video for that is still good. Okay, so that's so far you've got to set up account 000, a address record 000. You've got to set up address record A000. You've got to delete the unwanted pages, and you need to import the data dictionary. Then the next thing you need to do is very simple. Oh, it's simple, but the video showing you this very simple thing is fairly long because it's teaching you why we're doing it and how you use it and so forth. In the past, we had a requirement that, I don't want to go into a lot of details here because the video over there does it, but let me just remind you that the accounting manual requires that administrative employees, their receivables and their compensation be shown separate from other employees. Okay? If you've been following this at all, you saw last year we had this complex thing where you ran the financial statements twice and you drilled down it. Well, now we've automated all of that. It makes it a lot simpler. And so you want to make sure that you watch the video on how to use the new automated separation of the administrative employees' receivables from other employees' receivable and administrative employees' compensation from other employees' compensation. Okay, and don't worry if this is new to you and you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, just watch the video, it explains it all in detail. And so those are the sort of the steps for the implementation. And then finally, there's a substantial amount, not a substantial amount, but some work that needs to be done for implementing the world, setting things up so that we can get this newly required tithe usage report done. And so let's get over to the financial statements, and then at the end I will show you where the training videos are on each of those steps so we can Uh, you can know the videos that you need to watch so you can implement these financial statements, and then also what you need to watch so you know how to run them. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's look at the new financial statements. Okay, so here we are with the new financial statements, and I'm pretty excited about these things. Siri, my assistant, the guys in charge of the financial statements, has done an excellent job. Okay, so here is the cover page and the sequence of documents of the worksheets. This is the last page. We just put it down there, but I thought I would show you this to start with. And right down here at the bottom, you see, is the ability to it's not showing, but I'm just telling you right down here at the bottom is if you want to add your president, secretary, and treasurer. At Mission College, I added all the names of the accountants, the controller, and all the names of the accountants to work, but you can do what you want. There's no policy on that. Okay, so so many ways they look exactly like last year's, but now. And I don't have a really good illustration for it, but right here is a column that is automatically hiding for other funds. So if you had other funds, uh, they would show up right here. The total for them would show up right here. And so we probably won't make a video on how to use this with other funds because first off, it's very simple. They're almost automatic. There's a few little things that we have to be clear on, and if you have other funds and you'd like to use these financial statements, the simplest thing is just to get with Siri and ask support to help you get them going. But it's very simple, and we'll try to get you the documents on that. Now, the next thing we've got is that we've got the statement of financial activity, very similar to what we've had in the past, okay, just almost the same. And it has space for other funds. It's hidden here, but it has space right in here. You can see something's missing, hidden would be the other funds, income and revenue and expense. And just like we've done in the past, we have a tithe-based statement of financial statement and an education-based. So if you are a conference or a mission or a division, you would delete the one that says education-based. And if you're an education-based organization, you would delete the page that says tithe-based, okay? All right, just mentioning that to you. We go ahead down through here. There's not anything any different to speak of. There is the capacity within the statement of net assets to handle other funds, and the cash flow statement can handle multiple funds. So the beautiful thing about this is very similar to our past. Now here is the new tithe accountability report, and right now we don't have any numbers, but basically this is a report that is required by GC Working Policy V20 of every organization, okay, and it talks about where you got tithe from and how you use tithes, and these categories here are stipulated in the policy. Okay, so this is just following the policy to be very precise. The A, B, C, C1, C2, C3, D, E, F, G, H, I, they're coming right out of the policy. Those, even the numbering is coming right out of the policy. And so this report needs to be done at the end of the year for the previous year. But here's the cool thing. If you run this report, it's in your financial statements now, and we're putting it in the financial statements, and so you can monitor your progress toward the end of the year, through the year. So if you start realizing that you are receiving tithes and then it's being used in a way that you don't agree with, or maybe you're or messed up with it, then you don't like what's happening. If you've been monitoring it all year long, then you can change a policy or change the way you're spending tithe to remedy it before the end of the year. And so that's what's really cool, because it's a year-to-date concept. Okay? All right. And then we come over here and we have the breakdown between General Conference and SDA entities. This breakdown, this is a union this is a division we're looking at, and so it's the breakdown. You don't put down General Conference here in yours. This is the organization above you, and then these are the organizations within you, shown separately from organizations um, uh, that are denominational organizations that are not above you or within you. Okay, and the same thing is true with employee receivables. Uh, uh, Breakdown between administrative employees and non-administrative employees, so you can see that working. Okay, so those are the new ones. Everything else is pretty much the same way. All right, there's a little thing to show you here. We have the breakdown on administrative employees. This looks a little bit weird. Well, this page right here is not printed. It's administrative employees. We're breaking them down, but this is what's printed over here. So it's a little bit new. We have a worksheet and a document, and this document is getting numbers from over there. So this is breaking down the compensation, showing the compensation for administrative employees according to the policy. The policy says that you have to show the salary for administrative employees right here, and we have a new procedure. It makes it a lot easier. It's just really beautiful. Okay, and starting last year, we have these additional schedules that we're picking up out of the that people liked so much in the old financial statements, and we saw our way clear to include these supporting schedules to help us with the financial statements. So the steps for implementing are: first, delete the pages that you don't need. And it's more complicated than you can see right here. And there's a little video that talks about how to delete the pages and which pages you should delete. Okay, and there's actually two little videos. One, if you are using version 5.4 or 6.1, there's a video for you to watch. And then if you're using version 6.2 or 6.3, there's a video for you to watch. It's very short. That one is very short. Okay. The next step in implementing the financial statements is to import the data dictionary. Okay. So you want to import the data dictionary. There's a video to watch on how to do that. The next thing I like to do, and sometimes I even do this before I import the data dictionary, I like doing this to get it right out of the way, is set up account A000000. That's 5 zeros in there. And so I said set up account, but you set up address record. There's a video on how to do that, and it's exactly the same as what you did last year. In fact, if you've implemented the financial statements last year and have already set up A0000 address record, you do not need to do it again this year. Okay, so to be clear, you will, no matter if you use the financial statements or not last year, the new ones, you have to delete the pages you don't want, and you have to import the dictionary, the language dictionary. All right, you have to do that at least once a year, so you get the latest labels on your financial statements. But if you've already set up address record A0000, then you're done. You don't have to do that. Then you need to set up to comply with the requirements, the new functionality. Everyone needs to set up a new account. It's very simple. This helps you. This sets up the memo account and takes care of administrative employees' receivables and administrative employees' compensation. And so everyone watching this video will have to do that because it's brand new. The actual process of setting it up takes 2 minutes. The video is about 55 minutes to explain why we're doing what we're doing, but mostly it is explaining how to do the monthly information. So once a month we have to import information about who is the administrators in that month. It is extremely simple, extremely simple. But so you'll have to watch that video. And then finally, there's a video to get this new report working right. How does the software know what to go and into each of these things and this new accountability for the use of tithe. Okay, that this report requires a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of accounting, a change in account way we do accounting, and so you need to watch the video on that. So everyone listening to this will for sure have to listen to the new to learn the new way to account for this administrative employee breakout. Okay, this makes your life a lot simpler. Makes your life a lot simpler. Okay. So you have to watch that, and everyone needs to watch the video that has to do with tithe accountability. And finally, one cool thing that Siri has done is he has put a lot of work in getting this so it will print nicely without having to be exported to Excel. So it's behind the scenes, but before you just automatically export it to Excel so it prints like we used to have to do, we can try just printing these. And one of the things you might need to do is to look at printing from Q&A, the video called Printing from Q&A. It's over in the Q&A videos over at the Screencast video site. And it tells you how to slightly modify the printing in case it's not quite working right with your printer. You probably can adjust it slightly so it looks really good. And so I'm excited about these financial statements, and I think you're going to slowly, every year, we're going to make improvements in the world around us, and hopefully to the glory of God, we are going to have some good financial statements that we can be proud of as a denomination. So thank you for going through all the trouble it's going to take. It's not really that much trouble, but going through the trouble it takes to set up the financial statements. Thanks.